Hello, Paul.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
We're doing good. Doing good. How the sound is? How is it going? How the sound for you there?
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Nice, really nice. So first of all, thank you very much for accepting this talk. For us, really cool. You guys are the first bands, international band that we're talking to,
Hey,
uh, and we are big fans from here.
thank you.
So it's very nice. So I'm Luciano,
Hey,
and
Luciana.
he's Edgar.
I'm Edgar.
How you doing?
Good, and you? It's
Yeah,
me.
good. Thanks very much. Yeah, it's an interesting concept. Let's see how it goes.
Oh yeah. So let's see. So because we didn't have the idea to talk with bands exactly. We are like talk to every every people involved with music, but not bands. But once we heard you guys, we said, well, we could talk with them. That would be really cool.
Yeah, why
So
not?
that's it. Well, okay.
Yeah.
So let's start.
Let's start the questions. I'd like the first thing to ask you to introduce yourself, to talk about you and your band.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so you're right. I'm Paul from BigInSheboygan. I play drums in the band. We're based in Essex in the UK. I suppose, normally describe it as math rock inspired. I'm not sure we're completely math rock in
Oh
terms
yeah,
of how technical some bands can get, but we're definitely inspired by that kind of
yeah,
sound.
yeah.
Um, but you know, all of us are into loads of different types of music, so it's definitely a melting pot of different kind of backgrounds of music. But math rock is definitely something that we all like.
That's really nice. You guys had bands before? You like math rock bands before or instrumental stuff? Or is it like
No,
your
so
first experience of doing that?
yeah, pretty much. So this band, so all of us, all four of us, were in a band previously called Origami Noise, but that was a slightly more traditional setup in terms of there was a
Yeah.
vocalist who is the current guitarist in this band as well. So I joined that band when they were already in existence. They'd already been a band for quite a long time. So I joined kind of near the end of the band's kind of
Oh yeah.
life. And I think because everybody had been in the band for some time, everybody wanted to start to do something different. And we all kind of naturally came to the point towards the end, you know, what turned out to be the end of that band, where we just wanted to go in a slightly different direction. So it made sense to kind of stop that band and start something different, even
Oh
though it's the same members.
yeah.
Um, but all of us have all been in bands all our lives, if you like. Do you know what I mean? I've been in bands since I was, I don't know, 16, 17 probably. I've always been in some kind of bands. It's boring playing on your own,
Yeah.
isn't it? So, you know, my first band was I suppose, a kind of like funk jazz, I suppose,
That's really cool.
which was great. It was a trio, and then we later then had a saxophonist, and then towards the end of the life of that, we had a DJ as well, which was great fun. And
It's
then
very experimental, I think. Like
well, yeah, I mean, we were. I mean, I got introduced into jazz when I was in high school because I grew up with, well, my parents and stuff, you know, listened to the Police and Fleetwood Mac and the Beatles and stuff like that. And then as a teenager, I got into Nirvana, and then at the time it was that new metal
oh
scene.
yeah,
That's what I
just
kind
like
of grew
us.
up on.
We are kind of involved with that.
Yeah, I mean, I still have a soft
Every
spot
one
for
of
new
us.
metal, right?
Like
Yeah, like
Incubus and
Rage.
stuff. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Me and Matt like Incubus and Rage Against the Machine,
yes.
and you know, that kind of stuff. And then I was always followed and liked bands that had good drummers, as you would being a drummer, right?
Yeah.
And I used to think that some of the bands that I listened to, they were the greatest drummers of all time, until someone in one of my old bands introduced me to jazz fusion and people like Dennis Chambers and Dave Weckl and Omar Hakim, and it just blew my mind that
Uh-huh.
there was, you know, these severely technical drummers that were amazing. So yeah, we've all been in different bands over the years, and yeah, so we've kind of come together. I mean, I think math rock seems like it's kind of derived in some ways from prog. You know, we, you know,
Yes,
people
yes,
like,
yeah.
we all like a bit of prog.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, it goes on a bit sometimes, doesn't it? So math rock is brilliant to condense that kind of, you
The
know.
energy from the alternative music with the prog rock, I think, right?
Yeah, totally.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we also like the bands like the Mars Volta, who are incredible. But yeah, I don't think we could pull off being a prog band. I think we'll just get lost in some ideas and never come back, I think.
It's really nice. It's really nice.
Next question. Let's try the next question. So, how the BigInSheboygan started, and what's the purpose of the band?
Gosh, okay, purpose. I don't think we've ever talked about a purpose. So the band, well, I suppose as I kind of said, so it kind of started at the point where we in Origami Noise and we wanted to do something different. In terms of the name, by the way, I still don't like it. I think it's a rubbish band name, but I was outvoted. The three other guys love it.
Every band name is silly.
It's what having a band name is worse than naming a child.
Where is this city? I mean, Sheboygan.
Sheboygan. So
Sheboygan.
right, okay. So it's. Have you seen the film Home Alone?
No.
So it's quite a famous film from the 90s. Macaulay Culkin. Have you not got this film?
Yeah, sure.
Home Alone.
Sure.
Right.
Oh yeah, sure.
So there's a scene with John Candy.
The T-shirt, right?
Exactly.
T-shirt with
So
Macaulay Culkin.
yeah. So there's a scene where John Candy plays the mum's at the airport. She's trying to get home, and there's a scene with John Candy, and he's in the band, right? Yeah. So the whole joke is that he says a line.
Saxophone.
Yeah. So the line in the film is that he's trying to convince the mum that they're, you know, a good band, and he says, "Oh yeah," and he says, "We're really big in Sheboygan."
Oh,
so
that's really good. That's
where it's come from. It's quite hit and miss. Some people, as soon as we say it, they go, "Oh, Home Alone, that's brilliant," and others just go, "What?" We were played on the radio, like a local radio station, a few weeks ago, and the guy, the presenter, had never clearly heard of the place Sheboygan in America, and he couldn't say it. So every time he said our name on the radio, he said it different. I think he called it Sheboygan or something. Like he got it wrong. But that's where it comes from. Yeah, it took a long time to get to that bad name.
But I think it's a tough decision to, like, we had a long discussion to choose the name, and let's take this one, let's pick this one, and that's good. Let's start this thing.
Yeah,
something like this.
It's the three votes out of 4 was the best odds we got. We had plenty where 2 of us were going, yeah, that's a great name. Other 2 like hated it. We had 1 and like it never worked. So 3, and I was the one that didn't like it. I still don't. I think it's a rubbish band name for the record.
It's a good name. Now that you explained to us what's the meaning from this, I think it's a really nice concept.
Yeah, I mean, some people like it.
It's
different, right?
It's
definitely different.
So I mean, you guys had a band with vocalists before, and then I think, just like for us, I think that the goal of to have an instrumental band is really different. I mean, like when you have a singer in your band, maybe you think like you can make some you can play in the radio, or maybe being a big rock star or something like this. But when you when you have an instrumental band, you don't have like these expectations.
No. I mean, you know, we're all doing it for fun. We're not trying to get jobs out of it. We're doing it because we like doing it. It's a slightly different challenge to do instrumental music because you still got to keep people interested. You know, with vocals, exactly. with singers, you can either instantly like them or not, because you can either like what they're singing about or like the way they're singing, whereas instrumental is different.
Yeah, yeah.
So with all of our songs, we try and, you know, we're trying to keep that kind of melody in the sense we still want to get people kind of interested to not get bored of it, but without changing too much. And there's a bit of a balance between keeping it interesting. But yeah, I mean, we all listen to instrumental music as well. So, you know, if we like it, there's plenty of people that do like it as well.
It's perfect.
So yeah, it's great. It's great.
Really good. Next question.
Next question.
Are you nervous?
No, I'm not.
It's all right. There's only 10 people watching. It's fine.
Yeah, no. But it's recorded, so then like 100 people watch them. It's being recorded, right?
Let's move to the next question. I think, has the band had other members before?
No, that's a quick, easy one. No, same 4 dudes, same guys.
Same guys.
Can you tell us a little bit more about you have only one record, right?
Yeah.
And you guys had another song, then you choose these ones to record, or you just record the songs that you already have?
No, so when we recorded those 6 tracks, they were the only 6 we had at the time. Maybe we had sort of the makings of a 7th, but no, at the time they were the 6. So they took probably, I don't know, a year or so. I mean, some of the ideas we had in the previous band, and we changed it a bit. But I think, I don't know, call it a year to kind of write and sort out. And then the recording process, which I think was one of the other questions as well, we did that in 2 days. So there's a guy called Tom LeBeau Morley, who has recorded people like Tangled Hair. I don't know if you've heard of Tangled Hair, and Delta Sleep, Enemies. I don't know if you've heard of these bands. They're great bands.
No, we love Enemies.
Yeah, they're great. So he's recorded with them before. So we were quite interested in recording with him. But the whole concept was supposed to be, it was a live take of all 6 songs. So the drums, I think all the bass, and the majority of the whole EP is all live. We did it.
That's incredible. It doesn't sound like a live.
So I mean, there is overdubs of guitar, because we wanted to, you know, fatten things up and kind of. I think it started off as let's just get live takes and that'll do. But as we got into it, we started to go, oh, we could do a bit better with that. We can do that again. We can do it again. So we kind of, you know, built on it. But the foundations and the premises is just a live take,
really cool.
Which was great. So in fact, it was pretty much one day actually, because the first day was setting up and doing sound check and stuff. So it's kind of one day to record the 6. It was a long day. But that was great. I really enjoyed recording. It's great. I think some of the other bands kind of hate it a little bit more, but I think it sounds great. You know, Tom did a great job at recording it. We got it mixed by a guy called Ed Rome, who's local to us. And yeah, I think it sounds good. You know, for a fairly really inexpensive recording.
We were talking about the sound of the album here, and we were like, well, sounds really good. Really good.
Yeah, cool, man.
It's incredible. You thought that it's kind of live, or it's incredible. The sound is amazing.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Let's move to the next. Who bring more music ideas? How the process work? The creative process.
There isn't kind of one rule, really. So sometimes it could be Matt, the guitarist, that will bring in some riffs, and we'll kind of jam them out. It's very, very rare that anyone would bring a complete song and go, "I've got a song, here it is, let's play it." It doesn't really work like that. Otherwise, it will be Pete that will bring something, and then we play it together. And then during that process, you know, Steve or myself, Steve's the bass player, or myself might start to chuck in some ideas, and it's a real melting pot of just ideas, really.
Right,
So
right.
the initial idea, it normally comes from Pete or Matt, and then but then you know, as with a lot of bands, the finished product is genuinely a combination of everybody.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. Because when if you don't have like a process, sometimes like we when you don't, when some bands have just one member that compose and do everything, and then everything sounds really the same, right? It doesn't have dynamics. It's really different.
I couldn't be in a band like that. I would hate to be in a band where it's pre-written, including the drum parts, and it's like go play that. You know, that doesn't interest me at all.
Sure.
No, I mean we sometimes, you know, sometimes people will bring a riff or, you know, a few parts together that they really really like, and we'll play together, and it doesn't always work. And sometimes we can work on a track for weeks and then we'll scrap it because we're not always feeling it. And other times we could just improvise something and somebody will go, oh, that sounds great, and then we'll go off that and it will turn into a song that's great. You know, there's no set process. Sometimes it's from improvisation, or, you know, it's a mixture.
There's no rule, no rules.
No rules. Bung it in.
It's really cool.
I saw that in the album cover there's a dog, a cocker.
Yeah.
Is he from any one of you?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So Pete, Pete.
You want a
So Pete got a picture of the dog. So I think either he or his sister, I think, took it when they were kids, and it was their grandmother's dog, I think it is. And before the album came out, Pete found the picture of the dog that he or his sister took. I can't remember who it was. And when he showed it to us, it just looked like album art. Do you know what I mean? It kind of, the way that it's slightly off center and the way it's slightly blurred, that's just how it was. We didn't really do anything to it. The colors, that's just the picture. We all just looked at it and went, that's an album.
It looks like
picture.
a Polaroid picture.
It does. It kind of reminded us of a slightly sort of grungy style, like a Pearl Jam sort of. Do you know what I mean? It just looked like an album cover. So then Matt's lovely wife just did a bit of design work and the fonts and stuff, and it turned out to be our mascot, if you like. But yeah, that's a cool album. I like it's a great picture.
Yeah, really cool. So that your songs are very complex and a lot of details. You guys, when any of you guys, like it's a full job. The music is a full job, or do you have any college of music, or just like a second job?
Oh gosh, music is not a job for any of us. This is completely for fun. We get no money from it, let's be honest. I mean, we do it for fun. We've all got full-time jobs. We only do this for fun. Sometimes it's more fun than other times. Because if you're trying to write stuff and it's not happening, that's not fun. Or after a long day's work, you then rock up at the studio at 7 o'clock and play till 11 o'clock in the evening. Sometimes it's quite tiring, but you know, we all do it because we love it, and that's what better reason than that, right?
That's really cool. How often do you guys rehearse? How does it work, this dynamics for you guys?
Yeah, we try and practice once a week. At local studios. We just hire them out and practice sort of once a week, and they're normally 3 to 4 hour slots. And to be honest, if we didn't book those rehearsal times, I think all of us would struggle to put music, as in practicing music, in our busy schedules anyway. So I know that I can't always set up a drum kit where I am. So if I didn't book out the practice rooms, I wouldn't really drum. So, you know, when I was in college and I was in my other bands, I used to play every day because my kit was set up and I could play for hours every day. But you know, I've got other commitments. I've got a young family, jobs. You know,
Yeah.
we've all got families and jobs and stuff, so we can't play 24/7 anymore, unfortunately.
Well, really, it's just like for us, we rehearse in a rented place, so it's very similar to you
Yeah,
guys.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, um, how was the composition process of the album? It's
Acho que ele falou já mais ou menos como é que foi.
yeah.
I just cut in because you already told about the composition of the album.
yeah. I mean, the only thing I would add is that generally we kind of we spend, you know, a lot of time with the basic structure, and then once we've got the basic structure of something, we then over time start to finesse it and add bits. And you know, sometimes after listening to it, you know, for a few weeks, somebody might go, oh, on this part, maybe we can do it for short or extend it or do this bit or go to, you know, so we have like a basic structure and then we'll work on that and kind of build on it, I suppose.
Cool. Let's see what's the other question. And how is the scene there and for instrumental bands? You told us that you record with some people that work with other bands, other instrumental bands, and how is the scene that for instrumental bands in UK?
I find that quite difficult to answer because since we've been in this band, we've had in this band we've had very few live shows because of the coronavirus, right? So when you know, if you think about our Nathaniel EP landed November last year. We then had a few gigs lined up. We had a few early on, which was great, and then we had the few others that were lined up all had to get cancelled. But I mean, there's some great promoters, like there's Portals Festival, Portals Presents. We had a great gig in London with them. They put on some great bands. There's quite a big festival called Arctangent that some, you know, really big bands play as well. It's clearly not kind of a widespread following for instrumental music, but you know, for the places that we've played, we always get, you know, a fairly good reception, and actually that's all that matters. You know, we're not always bothered about, well, it'll be great to play in front of a huge crowd that like it, but sometimes, you know, you get the people that come to see singing bands, if you like, and we're the instrumental band in the lineup. And you might get a handful of people that come up and really like it, and that's what it's about, really. So,
really nice.
I think we had the same problem with coronavirus. We started to do live shows, and then we had to stop because of this this year.
Yeah, early on in our first lockdown, we did the Baby Gap video where we all recorded our bits, gave it to Matt, and then he put them together in a video where Matt's in the bath and Steve's in the shower, all that kind of silly stuff. I'm outside or something. Yeah, we did that all, and then just because we couldn't see each other, so.
It's sad. And how is you talked about the coronavirus? How is it? What's the expectations next for live shows there? Can you see a near future where you guys can play together, play soon? How's it going?
Oh, no idea. I mean, you know, we're fortunate, I suppose, that we don't rely on it for our income. So I feel really bad for the bands that it's their livelihood, because it's been taken away from them, right, as loads of other industries. So you know, I don't know, you know, who really knows what it's going to look like. I mean, there's some outdoor festivals during the summer that could have socially distanced benches and stuff, and people could have their own podiums, which is great, but if the weather's raining like it is now, you can't do that. So yeah, I don't know. They're going to have something, aren't they?
Very sad. Let's see.
I'd like to ask you about the videos. I noticed that you make always funny videos, and who had this idea, or it's from all the band? Or...
The first video we did, which was for swim team in the swimming pool,
Yes.
that came out of a kind of a conversation with. So one of my friends who lives near me, he had the swimming pool, but it wasn't used. It was just kind of an unused. The filter wasn't working. There was no heating. It's never, since he'd bought the house, he'd never used the pool. Because what he wanted to do was to knock it down and build a house where the pool is, right? So I said, oh well, you know, before you do that, can we do a video there? And he agreed to it and was more than happy to do it. And then the conversation kind of flowed from there, and there was another friend that said that he would record it, and that's how it happened, really. And then we kind of had a loose structure of making a synchronized swimming kind of video, but clearly we can't synchronize swimming, so it was always going to be rubbish, which was kind of the point anyway. But in the end, we were just being idiots in a really, really cold swimming pool that was freezing, because it's so cold. And then the jumping off the balcony. I don't know if it looks that high in the video, but it's pretty. When you're up there and you're looking down, it's pretty high. So it took us a few goes to actually get the balls to jump from there. And then we're like everything. Once you do it, it's fine. But yeah, that was good fun. That was good fun. Oh, and then so that's swim team. Then we did Baby Gap, which I talked about, which is where we did everything individually outside and stuff. That was just, I don't know, to make it more interesting, really. And then the most recent one with the monster. The concept of that video came from a friend of the band, and there was always going to be 3 different options for the ending, and we couldn't really decide which one to go for. But the whole concept of this monster, you know, having a pet fish, seeing it swimming free in the sea, and then the story about him going on a long journey to take it to the sea, and then in the end he throws it and misses the sea completely and thinks he's done an amazing job. And but again, you know, that was great. We did that in a day. Again, we did it in the way it's shown in the video. We actually recorded it in kind of like reverse order. So we started at the beach. We did all the beach scenes, all done on my phone, actually, all done on a phone.
Nice.
And then, yeah, just, again, we're just idiots, basically, and thought, let's put this in a video. But no, I did all the editing on Adobe Rush on my phone. Again, it's amazing what you can do on a phone. So, yeah, it's all shot, edited on my phone. And it was great fun. I think it's hilarious. It's, you know... We wanted a monster outfit, but we didn't want an offensive, like angry-looking Halloween-style monster. And then we found this honey monster outfit, and we at one point I think we were going to dye the hair and make it different, but we just used it as it was. We just used the honey monster. But that was great fun, man. I hope you like the video. It's great.
Yeah,
it's great fun. It's great fun.
Let's see, next question. Are you guys like gear addicted or something? Most drummers are not like gear addicted as guitar players as we are, like always searching for new pedals and new amps. And I think it's a little bit, it seems to me a little bit different for drummers. They're like, this cymbal is cool, this snare is cool, but are you guys like addicted to gear somehow?
I used to be. I used to be a real gear nerd, right? I used to. Yeah, I was. No, I'm definitely not one for just going, yeah, that'll do. I was well into my gear, but I've had the same setup for a number of years now because I've just found everything that I like, and I
tried out a lot of things already.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and at one point, you know, early on, I used to have way more cymbals and loads more drums. But as soon as you start gigging and you start going out live, you don't want to start lugging a massive drum kit around, do you? And half the time, you know, lot of the shows that we play, it's a house kit, so I don't always play my own kit. So if you're used to playing 24 toms and you go to a house kit that's got 2, you can't play your parts, can you? Yeah, no, I mean, no, I'm into my gear. You know, everyone likes having good gear, right? But the other guys, not really. They've got good equipment, but they're not really nerdy, and they don't kind of buy a new pedal every week and go, "Oh, I've got this pedal. Can we try it out?" They're fairly set on what they've got.
That's good. That's really good.
There's not actually that much pedals going on. I mean, I can't remember.
It doesn't sound like a lot of pedals, but I
mean, no, not really. I mean, you know, the odd bit of distortion and stuff, and I think there are some odd kind of pedals, but no, we're not. They're not heavily into pedals. They are fun though, right? Pedals are fun. I like playing pedals.
They're colorful. They're like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Changing the subject. You have you ever been to Sheboygan, or
do you have plans to play there?
We wouldn't say no to playing there, but no one's ever been there.
Because you're already big there.
I've heard this. No, we do have. Do you know what? When we first released the Nathaniel EP, I contacted the local Sheboygan newspaper just to see, right? Just to see if we get some free.
What happens.
And they loved it. They put this news article in, and we got so much traffic from that news article.
Oh, that's...
To be fair, I think a lot of people probably went, I don't like this. But there was a few that genuinely liked it. There's a girl called Jenny who lives in Sheboygan who's bought a T-shirt and she loves that, which is great. And when you look at the stats on Spotify and stuff, there are plenty of people in Sheboygan and America that listen to it, right? So no, none of us.
Big in New York.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same ring to it, though, does
it? Cool. So
next question: have you ever played abroad?
Like
no, in other countries around UK or cities?
Oh yeah. So we've been. I mean, we haven't gone too far. We generally play East Anglia, kind of southeast London kind of area. We haven't really been too far north or south. I think we were asked in our previous band to play in the Netherlands or something, but that never actually happened. But again, you know, it's something that if we start to get more of a following, because you know, in the grand scheme of things, we're fairly new band to the scene, right? Yeah, we haven't been around that long. So if we do start to get a bit more of a following, or people like us, then we can start to talk to other bands and do a bit of a gig exchange thing. But I think we're a long way off that, if I'm honest. Yeah. It's difficult, you know. It's difficult. There's so much music out there, and it's difficult to sometimes put your music in front of people that would like it without forcing it down their throat and looking like you're trying too hard, right? So the best way to do it, and has always been to share music, is to go out there and play, isn't it?
Exactly.
And that's, you know, really difficult at the moment.
Yeah. Well, you do the next question.
Yeah. Do you have any plans for a tour?
After
the
pandemic?
I mean, there's no plans for one. We would definitely be open to one. I mean, it's completely dependent on the industry and the way that, you know, the world goes, but. I think all of us would be up for doing a string of shows somewhere. Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. So yeah, and are you enjoying the time of this pandemic to write new music or to compose?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just trying to think. There was a big break during summer because all of us had different holidays and stuff, so we didn't play together that much.
Yeah.
But recently, no, we're definitely we're gearing up for the next EP.
Yeah, that's what we would like to know. How
The thing is, I mean,
when?
as much as we're currently writing for the next EP, at the same time, we haven't really gigged the first one. So,
yeah.
we still really like those
So,
first 6 songs, and don't get bored of them. But at the same time, to us, they're a couple of years old, so we want to do something new. But I certainly don't want to forget them because there's loads of people that haven't heard those first 6. So no, we're definitely writing some more. And what we'd like to do is do another EP. Probably start looking maybe at like sort of mid next year to record, maybe if they're ready. Which would be nice to have another set of songs to play. But no, like I said earlier, the writing process can be quite hit and miss. Sometimes you can have some ideas and they don't always work, or other times they really do work. Yeah. So it's definitely exciting.
Well, acho que é isso aí, né? Acho que mais que isso já.
No, let's continue. Tell me something funny that happened in your show that you can tell us. Do you remember?
Okay. I mean, when Pete used to sing, he used to sometimes tell some terrible jokes that were very painful. And there was once this really bad squirrel joke that he told that wasn't that funny, and nobody got it. And it was like just the crowd just were flat. There's another one where he screwed up the punchline. So now he's not allowed to talk. We've taken the mic away from him and he's not allowed to talk anymore.
That's a good thing to be an instrumental band, so you don't need more the mics. You don't need it. Acho que vai ficar muita coisa, né? Vamos perguntar se eles sabem alguma coisa de música brasileira.
Não, vamos continuar ali. Acho que vai mais uns minutinhos.
Então vá.
What's the purpose of music, in your opinion?
The purpose of music? Wow, that's a deep question. As in for our band or in general?
I think in general, I think.
And the meaning of the life. What's the meaning? No, just kidding.
You as a musician, what's the purpose for you?
Well, I mean, without sounding really cheesy, it is kind of a form of communication, right? So we're sometimes it feels like you're having a conversation with the band, with your instruments, you're kind of talking, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then it's the same kind of thing when you're playing to people, because they either get it and understand what you're saying or they don't. But at the same time, it's sometimes difficult because everybody listens to music or goes to see music for different reasons. Some people like to dance. And with math rock, you can't always dance because it's like on time, right? You can sort of jog around and kind of look confused. And some people, when we've played some shows, they stand there and they watch and they listen. And sometimes you kind of go, do they like it? Is this good? Are we good? Sometimes it's really difficult to judge because people are standing there and they're listening, and it's really nice to have their attention, and they are giving you their attention. But sometimes, especially in our previous bands, when it's a bit more like danceable, it's a bit more straighter kind of stuff, people are jumping around and going nuts, right? But I mean, back to, I suppose, your original question, the good thing about our music, or the style of music that we play, is that hopefully there's a little bit of something for everybody. There's parts of it where you can dance to. There's some stuff that there's really strong melodies that you know, hopefully people enjoy, and there's hopefully a level of complexity that people that like their music will go, oh, that's different. I haven't seen that
It's
before. Do you know what I mean?
surprising,
So,
like
yeah,
idea.
we don't like to be too obvious and too kind of like if you're writing a song and in your head you're going, I've heard this before, then you sort of think maybe I should try something different then. But again, that's you don't want to be too different because then you start to get like avant-garde and weird, right? So
Yeah.
we don't want to be weird because then you start to lose a lot of people's interest, right? So I don't know. Hopefully, we struck a good balance between interesting, a little bit different. You know, do you know what I mean? So I'm not suggesting we're unique. We're not unique, but
I think it's a characteristic of a human being. They don't accept something very weird, like very weird. It's
people.
easy.
Yeah, I mean, you probably find that. I mean, in human nature, you're generally attracted to people, whether it's with friends that are similar to you, right? And as soon as there's somebody that's not that you think are dissimilar to you, you don't always get along, right? Which is why generally lots of people who group together have similar interests or the same outlook on life. Same sort of thing with music, isn't it? I suppose.
Yes, that's good. Well, I think we now we know a lot about you guys. I want to thank you so
Too
much.
much. You know too much about us.
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot, not too much.
There's two questions down here. Should we quickly answer them? So this one from Rodrigo. Who's Nathaniel? Nathaniel is the dog on the album. That's his name. Nathaniel the Spaniel. There's another question as well. Where are you located in UK exactly? Essex, which is everyone knows where London is, right? So we're not that far from London. Is always the easiest way to say.
Yeah.
And that's it. Two questions. That's it.
That's good. I think one last question. What do you know about? Do you have any knowledge of Brazilian music? Do you know anything? Do you like? And
we know your band now.
Sorry.
We know your bands now.
Oh yeah. And Sepultura, maybe.
Oh yeah. Are they Brazilian? Other than that, not really. No, I mean, you know, it's in the kind of traditional carnival style sambas and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. But other than that, no, not really. Who? I've got a pen. Who should we check out?
Quem deveria conhecer? I don't think anybody.
Wow. Let's hope no Brazilians are watching this.
The classic ones like Tom Jobim is Tom. He's like the god of bossa nova.
Oh, jazz, cool. Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah.
Like, you probably will like it. And
okay.
drum-wise, really cool. The songs are really cool. Hermeto Pascoal.
It's H.
I think it's better write down.
Type it down. Yeah, type it down. Yeah. We'll check them out.
You're gonna love it. Oh shit.
I stand corrected. The name of the dog is Daniel Nathaniel Emmanuel Spaniel. There you go, full name. I'm just looking at the comments. They're mostly just Pete and Matt.
Os Mutantes is really cool.
Sorry, I'll stop reading now. I'll read them later. Cool. Well, oh yeah, I've got it. Great.
Well, thank you a lot for your time, Paul. It was
Thanks for asking.
A big pleasure to talk with you guys. I hope we can meet soon, maybe here or maybe there.
You never know.
After this virus. But thank you very, very much for your time, man.
Cool. Cheers. Have a great day. See you later.
All right. Be safe.
Bye.
Bye bye.